of Western Michigan. Now I'm back home.
So everybody back at home, I love y'all. What's up?
Big goal is, of course, always about winning, but the thing is just maximizing these guys, helping them be the best player and people they can be. All that starts now, at these months now. So the trust and the build and the work starts now, as I call them, bank deposits. You putting bank deposits in now so we can cash in on them later.
We got it, and this is what it's gonna be built on right here. You've been working.
I mean, hey, I've been wanting to be a Spartan since I was a sixth grader, so to be back here on this side of things as a coach is a dream come true.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You are watching Spartan Dogs for Life, Spartan Dogs for Life, the SD4L show. This is Brian Musalam along with my co-host, Justin Thin. Justin, how you doing today?
Good day to be here, Brian. I see you're rocking some new gear for the show. Must be a special one.
Special one. We have MSU basketball assistant coach Thomas Kelley, who has come back to the program. TK joins the show. How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad to be on the show, man. Glad to be here.
Great to have you back. Why you hoarse, though, man? Why'd you lose your voice?
You already know. I mean, honestly, Brian, every day I'm yelling, trying to get a point across. But most importantly, man, it's a good thing. Just trying to motivate and bring my energy every day.
See, I thought Izzo quit yelling. So you're now gonna be like him and you're gonna yell all day, or what's up?
Hey, if I got to, I'm trying to
Hey, Coach, thank you for joining us. I remember when I played there and I was there and you were a youngster, and it's just so great to see the family, and you back with the program. And lately you guys have been on an absolute hater recruiting for 2023.
Yeah.
As we inch closer to the football season and to basketball season, and football's around the corner. Tell us about your new role. I mean, how have you been getting situated in your new role with the program, and what exactly does that look like?
Well, it's crazy because, honestly, I hit the floor running, to be honest. I mean, getting on the floor with the guys, that was my first thing, to me, to be honest with you. As you know, you're a former player yourself, and me being a former player also, they said coaching, of course, but I want to get to know the guys. And, I know I'm a little somebody, I want to get to know more, and behind the scenes, how are they? So that was my first initial thing when I got here. I want to get on the floor with them, get in the trenches with them, and then go from there. Because I'll try to make them a priority first. And then everything else kind of fall in line after that, as far as, adjusting to the job, of course, getting adjusted to, like you said, the new digs, got the new office, blessed to find a house at this crazy market right now. Was able to close on a house. So I was blessed to do that, which I'm still going through that process now to try to get everything in there. But I'm adjusting, man. Honestly, right now, I'm still adjusting. Like you said, it's crazy to wake up every day and be here every day and don't have to commute anymore. You know what I mean? And all of that. So it's just been kind of a lot thrown at you, but it's in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's not work. I'm doing something I love to do, and I'm at a place I want to do it at because I know the language. So it's all been going pretty good.
So, Coach, you were at Michigan State for Coach Izzo's first Final Four. You were there in the past as a graduate assistant. And now you're there in a different era. So my question for you is, how has Coach kind of over time evolved? How does he handle the program now versus maybe back then? Has his approach changed at all? What do you see getting to see him in all these different chapters of his career?
Well, to be real, I always say you can't reinvent the wheel because at the end of the day, we are who we are.
Right.
Coach is who he is. Yeah, you got to tweak some a little bit or adjust, as we say, adjust with the times. Even today, about he's coached against 58 different coaches.
Right.
So you gotta think about that through the different times and eras. Like we're talking about with Brian, the 90s, the 2000s,
right,
10s, the 20s. You really gotta adjust, and he's done a good job of it. As far as like I said, making adjustments, but also keeping his core values.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He has kept his core values. He's not You know, he's not jumped off the deep end. He's not doing nothing crazy and all that. He's sticking to his core values, but also understanding that this generation, you know, it is a different with social media and things like that. So you do got to watch certain things, but he's done a good job adjusting and staying him.
Right.
And I respect that.
So you talk about adjusting, right? Obviously, there's a new landscape with NIL, social media, players changing, coaches having to make adjustments, and a lot of the world now is me instead of us, right? I mean, it's it's changed, and you know, you've gone on a great recruiting run here. How has Michigan State been able to adjust to find the kids that fit the program's mentality, and how has Coach been able to continue to resonate with his message with this new generation?
Yeah, well, you know, going back to like you talking about, you know, being a player yourself, like I said, I'm gonna keep going back to that because it's about a culture that we built starting back in the '90s, right? So that culture, like I said, the core values, you know, end of the day, a lot of things go on. I would say you can't reinvent the wheel. It still got the core values. I remember, Brian, man, because we went to a couple of NITs before we turned it around. So what I'm saying is, I remember them times, and we started buying in. And once we started buying in, players is the reason why your program, you know, and your culture stay the same. And so what Coach has done, we got a good core group. Like AJ Hogarth is a heck of a leader, heck of a recruiter, heck of a guy to keep the culture going. You got a bunch of guys. So that's what really keeps this thing going is the players. They keep it going. They are the ones that keep Coach young, keep Coach, you know, on his P's and Q's. But it's them that keep this culture going, keep this thing going, keep this family atmosphere. That's why I'm here. Austin Thornton's here, Mark Montgomery, you know, you got Matt McQuaid sticking around. That's why we're all here, because we're part of that culture, and we ain't veering from that. And that's what guys and the players are buying into that, and they see it.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. There's a reason everyone keeps coming back here to coach, to be a GA, and that doesn't happen everywhere. That does not happen everywhere, for sure.
At all.
For sure. So, Coach, we're a few months into the offseason now. I'm sure you guys have worked on a lot of stuff. You've seen a lot of stuff from a lot of guys. What can Michigan State look forward to in the backcourt? In my opinion, I think it's one of the better backcourts in the Big Ten, probably one of the best backcourts in the nation, I would argue. What have you seen from Tyson, from AJ, and then the underclassmen, Trey, and obviously Jaden? And could you envision them playing at the same time, maybe 3-guard lineups? What are we looking at here?
Well, you know, and that's something the players gonna have to decide.
Right.
That part. But as far as how they look, they're looking good, man. These guys been working. You know, you're talking about 7 a.m.s consistently every day. The energy they bring every day. These guys look good. I mean, as far as AJ's embracing a new role, because I keep telling them, like, you're not a secret anymore. You know, you got to, now the world knows you. You know, the people, the country know about you. The Big Ten know about you even more. So it's like you got to ramp it up even more. Tyson Walker, you transferred in. You got adjusted to Big Ten play. Where Michigan State basketball is like, now it's time to take a step forward. Jaden Akins, and I think, and which with him, he understands that people want to see his growth, because I always say your biggest jump in college to me is your freshman and sophomore year. You have to make that jump. When I was here as a grad assistant with Cassius Winston, those are things we talked about often. It's making that freshman and sophomore year jump, and the rest was history. So those are the kind of things with Jaden Akins, Pierre Brooks. They're going to have to show and make that jump. Yeah. You know, and even and being more demanding. You know, but Trey Holloman, very talented. He done gained like 12 or 13 pounds since he's been here. Yeah, so that's impressive.
And
the
so
kid he's a sponge.
Good. Wow. You know, going back to that 3-guard lineup, do you envision a lineup of a Hogarth, Walker, and Atkins on the floor all at the same time? Akins, I'm sorry. And when you're looking at the point in the offseason, like, do you have a feel of whether Coach intends to start Akins at the 2 and bring Walker off the bench, or are we still feeling that out? Has that something we look at?
Oh, well, no, it's great question. It's still early to tell. still so early to tell. But and like I said, let the players decide that what their performance and what they're doing. But I'm not that 3-guard lineup. That's not unrealistic. Things can happen because to now we're in an era now where we're in positionless basketball. And it's not traditional 1, 2s, and 3s. Even big man 4s and 5s. Like you see a Draymond Green, for example, with his versatility.
Yeah.
You have the Jaren Jackson, you have Xavier Tillman. You have guys that can really do a lot of things. Like Joey Hauser is a versatile guy. Malik Hall is a versatile guy. So the small ball lineups and all of that, all those things are realistic. Those things can really happen because that's what college basketball is becoming. That's what basketball is becoming.
A lot of versatility on this team. So many lineups, just creatively thinking about it throughout the off season, and people don't even realize because he didn't shoot that much. But Tyson Walker is one of the best 3-point shooters in the nation last year, and that just went under the radar. And
I agree, and that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think
because I get mad when he missed. To be honest, I get mad at him. I do. I do.
Yeah,
man. I know I get on his nerves, and I do it on purpose.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You can't let him get comfortable because then they'll stop progressing for sure. But yeah, so Coach, when you got back here, obviously this time different. You're a full-time assistant coach, not a GA this time around, and obviously you got a lot of great experience at Western Michigan. Got retained by multiple coaches, and obviously got retained by DJ coming over there. And DJ has years of a network and chose to retain you, and I think that speaks volumes for sure of the options he had and him choosing you. And what would you say is something that maybe has been unexpected for you transitioning into an assistant role? Maybe not even necessarily so much at Michigan State, but just becoming a full-time assistant. When you made that jump, what was something that was kind of a learning curve for you?
Well, and I'm glad you brought up Dwayne Sims. Much respect to him because
for sure.
I feel he gave just the giving me the opportunity to be here. And just letting things happen the way they happen and with his push. I appreciate him for that. But the main thing was adjusting, especially being an assistant. It really wasn't an adjustment because for me, it was just I do what I do. I'm doing what I do every day.
Right.
I like to see people get better. People improve. So I'm on that every day. So that's now I'm on this side as a coach, assistant coach. It feels more fulfilling, more impactful because it like I'm really, really trying to help change a life where you have kids' livelihoods in your hand.
Yeah. And
they're really listening to you, trying to be a sponge. And I value that. So as assistant coach, I really value those things. Really think where I as these young kids say, keeping it 100, right?
Right.
So I really try to value that, to be honest, because I don't want them to, come at, I don't want them to, I want to have their trust and keep their trust, and once I get it and gain it and all of that, because that meant a lot to me as a player, because I had some pretty good assistant coaches, Tom Crean, Stan Heath, Coach Garland, it's just about trust. And that's the one thing that being an assistant coach, I want to make sure I have that with them guys because I want to be able to talk to them. I want them to be able to talk to me.
Right.
And we can grow and build. And it's going to be tough times. So when I'm yelling at them or getting on them for something, they know I'm coming from a genuine place.
Yep.
So trust has been a big thing for me as assistant coach.
So speaking of yelling, there was a game last year that had Coach Izzo mic'd up, and they went into the huddle. And it was in between timeouts, and he was clapping. He's like, "Come on, guys, we can do this."
That's what he's always like, Brian.
And I tweeted out, I said, "That's exactly how Coach Izzo's huddles go in timeouts." And it might have been a coincidence he was mic'd up, because I know Coach doesn't yell a lot. Do we anticipate him yelling more this year?
Once again, that's going to be on the players, Brian. I'm trying to do my part as assistant coach to make sure they're going to be on be on point a little bit to prevent that. But to be honest, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
As it should. As it should.
So you just don't want it to happen too much. But it's gonna happen, and it's all for the better.
That's why he has TK yelling on his behalf, so he doesn't have to do it as much.
That's why your horse. I'm telling you, I laughed so hard. I had him mic'd up, and he's like, "Come on, guys, we can do this." And I just like laughed. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how he runs that huddle right there. Right. You know, if that mic wasn't on, I'm sure something else might have been said. You know?
I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. I don't know that. I don't know. I've lived some things, but I don't know. Especially being a point guard for him at his younger years.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
My God, you know, that's so funny, you know. So, like, what have you seen from the wings and the forward so far? Hall making the transition to small forward. Has that been going, and how's that been going? And like the focus of his efforts in the off season in terms of skill and development. How's he coming along?
Malik's coming on. Honestly speaking, you know, I deal with him a lot as well. Malik is coming on real well. I mean, you can just tell his maturity. You know, he's battle tested now. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta tell him it's time to act like that. You know what I mean? So Malik has been good. I mean, embracing it, because athletically in his size, Malik can really, you know, he can guard multiple positions. You know, the transition it hasn't been no complications for Malik Hall. You know, because he can. You know, with his ability, some things you can't teach with his athleticism and size and things like that. You know, it's easy adjustment for him. He's been embracing it, defending it. You know, because you can defend, and Malik can defend on multiple positions. So that part has been pretty good. Been pretty good. Honestly, it has.
That's awesome. So, you know, Pierre Brooks has been turning a lot of heads at Moneyball. I mean, he's been doing. I mean, He's getting a lot of attention here, shooting and scoring with confidence. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Slimmed down a little bit too.
Yeah. What have you liked about him? Yeah. Oh yeah. What do you like about him in the off season? And you know, what are you expecting to see from him this year as a sophomore?
Like I said, it's time. Freshman, sophomore, it's time to make that jump.
Yep.
And I think Pierre has bought into that just as well as Jaden Akins. Pierre's bought into that. He's buying in. He's consistently putting work in every morning, consistently getting his shot up. Was actually here tonight, getting shots up. I mean, Pierre is really embracing, because we're going to need Pierre. He's going to be a key player in this chain movement too, to keep this thing going. So Pierre has been good. He's embraced. I think he understands the importance of it, and importance of the year he has to have. So Pierre has been great. Honestly, he's been great. Doing real well.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I know the benefits of not filling up your roster in the offseason is that guys like this get to develop in their sophomore years. They get to learn by trial by fire instead of just sitting around on the bench. So
no doubt.
Yeah,
that's
great to see that. I think Michigan State is in a great shape in terms of guys like Jaden and Pierre getting lots of minutes this season, and fans are excited. I know I've been yelling from the rooftops that Jaden Akins is going to be the breakout player in the Big Ten this year, and a lot of excitement there. But I guess I got to ask you about the center position. That is going to be something that people are going to look at for sure after kind of last season. And then Jackson Kohler coming in is very exciting to people. Very, very refined offensively. Great post moves. Has an outside touch. Lit it up at the Iverson Classic. Dunked on kids committed elsewhere, we will say. And he's a guy that everyone's watching. After that, you have Mady Sissoko. But overall, there's a lot of, a wild card factor to the position. So what can you tell Michigan State fans about what they can expect at center?
What they can expect is, man, the way Mady Sissoko has worked on his body. Like I said, he's one of them, just like everybody else, honestly speaking. He understands the importance of, what his role is, and what he has. He's been growing. Mady has been doing well. He's been embracing. Mady's been a sponge, honestly. Easy to coach, man. Been very easy to coach. He's listening to everything. Trying to be a sponge every day, going hard every day, in the weight room and on the court, gotten stronger. I mean, Mady is really He's really taken some huge strides. Jackson Kohler, very skilled, fellas, very skilled. And if you went to a Moneyball game, I think you would see that because he done had like back-to-back, like 40-plus games. And I know, see, don't get me wrong, I get it's summer league, right? I know it's summer basketball. But you got to understand when, scoring 40 is scoring 40.
Right.
If you play basketball. But
right. And
he's skilled enough to do that. Like, guy can go over both shoulders. And it, like I said, he's a sponge. Because all these bigs, Carson Cooper, they all been sponges. I think, they all been embracing their role. They all been accepted to a lot of things. I mean, the guys have been great. They have been great. I mean, all 5 men they've been great. Putting their work in, working hard every day. So, I mean, I think they understand the importance of what this year is and what that people may underestimate them or, don't know a lot about them. So I think they're prepping for that right now.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you, we're so happy to have you back. You're a brother, you're a Spartan dog, your family.
Yes.
I graduated in 96. 95 you got there?
Yeah.
You did. Remind me, did I beat you up in the training room? I don't remember.
Nah, man. I told you I think you liked me a little bit, Brian.
I did. I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, I remember.
I might have beat up Mateen.
Good thing you did it.
I might have. I'm back in the day.
It was so funny to watch you dance and get it in the weight room, man. Like it was working. I'm not lying, man. I thought that was the funniest thing when I was young. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Coach, we are so happy to have a brother back, a Spartan dog, and we expect nothing but the best out of you, and we wish you nothing but the best. And those that doubted the GOAT, he proved this week. You ain't writing his. You can write his eulogy, but he's gonna rewrite history.
Yeah,
so
that's his motivation. I'm telling you, I love it.
Oh, listen, when Iz gets doubted, he don't sleep at night.
No.
And that's all the fire he needs, right? About can he adjust to this era of NIL, portal, social media, and it's adapt or die, and that's his biggest challenge. And he's
showing it.
Oh yeah, showing it.
Number 4 recruiting class in the nation right now.
He's absolutely showing it. So I will tell you what, Coach, we're so happy to have you back, and thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you, and we wish you nothing but the best. And God bless you, man, and go green,
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate all the insight, for
Much
sure.
respect to you guys.
Love you, Coach, man. Take care, all right?
Yeah,
God bless you. Take care. Go into good night and go green. Thomas Kelley joins the show. Gotta tell you, time flies, man. I remember when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
I absolutely remember when he was a freshman, and it's just the way time flies. It's so fast, Yeah.
When Coach was hired, I asked around people like what they thought of the hire and things of that nature. The first thing I heard back from somebody that worked with Coach Kelley was his players will run through a wall for him. He just connects with them on an emotional level and just mentors and guides them so closely and in such a hands-on way that people just know he's different. He's not just there to be a coach. He's there to be an all-out mentor for the guys. So that was the feedback I received, and it seems like you can see the passion and when he talks about the program, and looks like it'll be a fun time in East Lansing with Coach developing these guys.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. On to our next topic. And we got some good news about recruits. 5-star Xavier Booker commits to MSU basketball when they doubted the GOAT. Tell us, Justin.
Yeah, Xavier Booker, the number 3 player in the entire nation according to 24/7 Sports. He is going to be one of the highest ceiling players in the entire class, probably the highest ceiling player. And Tom Izzo was at every single one of his games possible. If Xavier was playing at a park, I'm sure Tom Izzo would have been there in a lawn chair. And it's just one of those things where Izzo just got in the lab, just grinded, and just said nobody was going to beat me in this recruitment, and just put all the work in. And it paid off for him. And this is a testament to the way that Coach Izzo builds his relationships. They stand, in some cases, the test of all the other external factors of, in this NIL world, transaction world, where if you just build the closest relationship, the right kind of kids will gravitate to that and commit to the program. There you see the video of Xavier Booker's commitment that he put out on Twitter. And, he's just a guy that's going to come in and immediately play a lot of minutes. Offensively, he's pretty refined already. Outside touch, pick and pop shooter, has a great touch around the basket. Defensively, look for him to add some muscle maybe this offseason and this upcoming season and take a step up there. And I think he's a guy that has a really, really high ceiling, and will refine in some areas before he gets to campus. And let's see what he does.
Well, he shot up that recruiting board the minute they knew Iz was on him, and then Duke offered him.
Yeah, so Izzo started prioritizing him when he was unranked, and treated him like he was the number 3 player in the country before he was. And then, like you said, he shot up the recruiting board as the interest picked up. But Izzo was there beforehand, and a lot of other coaches, I talked about this in my podcast with Xavier's AAU coaches, they said that a lot of coaches back when he was unranked, they were recruiting him, and then he had a couple bad games. They stopped recruiting him. Then they tried to get back in the sweepstakes when he went up to a 5th star. They said, nope. They said, Coach Izzo's been here the whole time. Where were you? And then this is what happens.
You know what that speaks to? It speaks to a good family, a loyal family.
Yep.
He's taught loyalty. He understands, he appreciates that this isn't a transaction. This is a lifetime relationship. And kudos to him and his parents. And Xavier, we welcome you to the Spartan Dog family. We're excited to have you. So
another tidbit from that interview, Coach Izzo was going to Xavier's games, flying to Xavier's games, that he knew Xavier wasn't even going to be playing in later that night.
Wow.
Just to make an appearance, continue building the relationship, showing the family that he's committed. Other coaches were not doing that once they knew that Xavier wasn't playing in a given game. And Izzo was doing so.
Tom Izzo, really, the best description you can have for him is loyalty. When he's loyal and he understands building long-term relationships.
And they continue after the players leave Michigan State.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. That speaks volumes to how many return to the reunion and how close he's stuck to his players. So that's a great commit. And Xavier, congratulations to you and your family, and we welcome you to the family. We're excited to have you. Go ahead.
Another commit. Michigan State basketball got 2 of them. So we have 2023 shooting guard / small forward Garrick Normand, who committed to Michigan State last night. There
the dogs were barking last night, boy.
Yeah. There you see his commitment edit. What an edit there. They got Coach Izzo.
Is that Izzo yelling at him or just yelling in general?
Izzo doesn't yell, Brian. We went over this.
Oh, okay. That's right. I'm just serious.
Yeah, so they have 2 huge commitments recently. This one, very, very different, but also very same in certain ways. So Coach Izzo, once again, the loyalty, the family environment, that resonated with Garrick Normand and his family. I'll go into that in a second, but this wasn't a commitment where Coach offered on Saturday morning on the final day of Garrick Normand's official visit to Michigan State. And before the weekend was over, I want to say Sunday night, they had gotten a silent verbal from Garrick Normand. 2 days. 1 day since the offer, 3 or 4 days since he first started getting heavily recruited by Michigan State. I haven't seen a turnaround this quick in a basketball recruitment for a 2023 kid that's months away from signing day, and ever pretty much. So how did this happen? Garrick Normand's mom basically described in a very lengthy and thorough recount of the official visit to me that the entire weekend they were surrounded by not only Coach Izzo, not only Coach Izzo's family, not only the assistant coaches, but every assistant coach's wives were there the whole weekend. And she said it's like going over to a neighbor's house that you've known for years. That's what the whole weekend felt like, going over the coaches' houses. And as you can see, her quote there to me, Coach Izzo is a legend in our house. We feel this group can win a national championship. Mrs. Norman said that Xavier Booker and Jeremy Fears being part of the class and the wins it would lead to was another huge reason on top of the family feel.
Wow. That's called culture.
Yep.
When you have recruits recruiting other recruits, like Jeremy Fears, and then you have parents like Mama Hall, like Mrs. Norman, who are so outspoken. That is a testament to the culture that's being built in East Lansing for both programs. So it's really, really exciting times. They counted Izzo for dead. They counted him out. Don't ever count the goat out. Ever. We got one more to get, though.
Yeah.
One more to get, don't we?
We have more basketball news here, as the Michigan State basketball program has went ahead and hired a director of recruiting. There you see it. John Borovich, assistant coach from Northwestern, has went ahead and made the move to come back to Michigan State, where he was a grad assistant. And Michigan State, I assume, will see a huge boost to the off-the-court recruiting sort of strategical infrastructure and the way they go ahead and make sure they don't miss any guys and things of that nature. So, Brian, you want to tell us a little bit about Coach Borovich here?
Yeah, so he was a grad assistant at MSU from 01 to 03. Like you said, he worked at Northwestern with Chris Collins. He also worked under Mark Montgomery and Greg Campy and Brian Gregory in the past.
Yep, former Spartan Brian Gregory, former Spartan Mark Montgomery. Yep.
But probably the most important thing is that he played high school basketball with Matt Ishbia.
Talk about keeping it in the family.
Keep it in the family. So we're excited about that. But definitely a need for the program. So many of us believe this is a great hire.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In this era where there's so many kids all over the nation that you have the ability to find via social media, Huddle, all the circuits and stuff, you want to make sure that other schools are not finding them before you. And you want to make sure you can get on them as early as possible. And having a director of recruiting again will be a great addition for Michigan State, I would believe.
Absolutely.
One last basketball thing.
Go ahead, talk. Tell us.
Cohen Carr. Cohen Carr is now, it appears, the most important target for Michigan State basketball. He is, for the most part, the only target remaining that they have not landed a commitment from. There you see his pictures from the official visit that was also this past weekend. He arrived the same day that Garrick Norman's official visit ended. Last night, after Garrick Norman committed to Michigan State, all three current commits, Fears, Booker, and Norman, got on an Instagram Live, invited Cohen Carr into the live. So it was those three Michigan State commits and Cohen Carr. And those three were just recruiting him like crazy. And so Cohen Carr, just talking a little bit about what kind of a player he is, he's going to just be jumping out of the gym. You put on his highlights. That confirms to me the rumors I've heard about his vertical being above 40 inches. You can see him just two-hand blocks pinned against the glass. You can see him just a physical freak. Honestly, if you went to the NBA Combine tomorrow, he'd be one of the top testers there. If Michigan State can land him, you're looking at probably the best athlete that has came through the program maybe since Brandon Dawson. So this would be a big pickup for Michigan State. He can guard 1 through 4. So we'll see. The three targets, the three commits at Michigan State are recruiting him hard. And no imminent decision there. Cohen said he's going to drop a top 5 first, and then he's going to commit sometime between announcing that top 5 and the start of his high school season. But we should know in a couple months at least. And he won't be as easy of a pull as Garrick. He seems to have a lot of SEC flavor to his recruitment and his offer sheet. But seems like with the way that Michigan State's recruiting right now and all the kids they have on him, I would not count out Michigan State there.
Not at all.
Yep.
Don't ever count the goat out.
Yep.
Why don't we get into the
more commits, but football this time.
Let's go. Let's talk about it. We got more of that.
Yeah. So let's start with Stanton Ramel.
Oh, we got a big commit there.
This is huge. First of all, the highest ranked offensive line commit of the Mel Tucker Coach Cap era. Second of all, plays the left tackle position, projects there at the next level. He's a true left tackle, and that's obviously the most valuable position, I would say, probably in all of football alongside quarterback, but definitely across the offensive line. He had a lot of great offers. He's down south from Alabama. He's 6'7", 310. This is probably the biggest pickup of this class, in my opinion, in terms of if you combine positional need plus talent plus ranking. That's what I would say. I would say so far this is the biggest commitment of the cycle.
I would have to agree. Shout out to Coach Cap and Saeed Kelley for building the relationship with this young man. And, welcome to the family, dog. And you're going to be coached by one of the best offensive line coaches in America.
Yep.
And he's going to develop you for the next level. So we're excited to have you. Welcome to the family. And on to the next commit.
Yeah, so many of them. We got
what
up
a
next.
week, huh?
Yeah. Now hope they need to calm down next week, otherwise we're not gonna be able to keep it under 60 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna move fast here.
We got 2024 wide receiver Nick Marsh. He's from River Rouge High School in the state of Michigan. He is a top 100 kid in the 2024 class. This recruitment kind of went under the radar to some extent because he's a 2024.
And it happened so fast,
Right. Yeah. We'll talk about how that happened for sure. But real quick, this is a kid that if he was a 2023 and he was more on the recruiting radar in terms of articles being written about him, his recruitment was under a bigger microscope, this would have been one of the most closely watched recruitments of the entire cycle for Michigan State. Since he's a 2024, a lot of the coverage hadn't happened yet, so people didn't know his name. But this is a top 100 kid that visited Alabama 2 days before he committed to Michigan State.
Wow.
So he committed to Michigan State during the time where theoretically he would be on his Alabama post-visit high, where you would think it would be the hardest time to get him to commit. Instead, not only did he commit to Michigan State, the quote that he gave my colleague Corey Robinson about how he articulated the commitment, Coach was surprised. So they didn't even put him in the pressure cooker, get him to commit, hurry up, be the first guy in the 2024 class. No, he decided that this was his second time feeling this way in his last 2 Michigan State visits. He called his mom. He said, "Mom, I have the same feeling I had last time I was here. This time I'm going to commit." And his mom was like, "Yeah, son, go ahead. Go do it." Yeah. Yep. So great job by his mom, just being supportive of the way the son was feeling and letting him commit. And these are the kind of recruitments where you're like, this is such a natural commitment. Staff wasn't pressuring him. The parents weren't pushing him in any way. He had just come off of a time of his recruitment off of a visit from Alabama that you would have thought would be the hardest time to sell him on an immediate commitment elsewhere. But he did it. I think you got to feel really good about the way this commitment came and the strength of it holding.
We sure do. We are absolutely sure do. We're Nick Marsh, welcome to the family, Spartan Dog family. We can't wait to have you. Enjoy your junior and senior year, and enjoy your high school years. And then the dogs await you. They absolutely await you.
Yeah, and speaking of 2024 talent, tons of it was in town
for the Spartan Dog Con.
That's correct.
2. What a big hit that was.
Look at that.
We had almost 200 former players come into town. And it was all the former dogs came in. One thing Coach Tucker's embraced a lot of the former dogs. You see a lot of the pictures. Jalen Watts Jackson showing up, who will be forever remembered. Right? Legendary. In MSU circles, and what a great event that was. And one thing Mel has done has built a great. There's A.D. Haller, built a great culture of bringing back the former players. Built a great program to educate future dogs about what we're all about, what financial wellness is all about, what we can do and how we can do. And help you succeed in life, right? Because there's life always after football. And why don't you go through that list of recruits that showed up to that event?
Yep. So there you have some of the highest ranked guys that committed, that were visiting this week. And obviously the list goes much longer. I think we ended up hitting 30 or 31 total. But right now, these were the guys that I guess are the biggest names to watch going into the next cycle, the next 2024 recruiting cycle. First at the top, you have 2023 uncommitted defensive end from Cass Tech, 4-star Jalen Thompson. He was the only 2023 prospect that was uncommitted that visited this weekend. So he's obviously a name that Michigan State fans have known for a while. But the other guys, the people might not have known them just yet, but they are huge, huge targets. KJ Bolden, he's from Buford, Georgia, same high school as current Michigan State true freshman Malik Spencer. He is the number 3 player in the entire nation. A safety / wide receiver for Buford, a 5-star. TJ Capers, he is the number 1 linebacker in the nation. He is from Florida. He is obviously a 5-star as well. You have Elijah Rushing, who's the number 1 defensive end in the nation. He is from Arizona. You have David Stone, who I believe is the number 1 interior defensive lineman in all of football in the 2024 class. He is a 5-star. He is very good friends with By Job and his trainer, Sean Cooper, C4, who is obviously known by Michigan State fans for posting the picture of him in Michigan State gear puffing a cigar. Shout out to Coach Tucker. So a lot of kids that are number 1 at their position there that Michigan State hosted in the 2024 cycle for Spartan.com. And you saw others there on the list. And it's just a lot of talent that they had up here. You have King Joseph Edwards, who's the top 100 defensive end / tight end that also plays for Buford. So he came up here with KJ Bolden. And then you have Jake Merklinger, who is probably the top target at quarterback in the 2024 cycle. He's a top 100 kid. He's from Georgia, and he has now visited Michigan State 4 times, including the Michigan State win last year at Spartan Stadium. So that's a top 100 quarterback from Georgia making 4 trips on his own dime to Michigan State before his junior season even started.
You know, as Mama Hall just sent us a message, when you know, you know. It's that simple, right? Right, Mama Hall?
Yeah. Shout out to Mama Hall
Shout
in
out
the
to Mama
YouTube
Hall.
comments.
Yep.
What a recruiter.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, Mama Hall, if my mom, God rest her soul, went out recruiting for us, I'm not sure she could do what Mama Hall's doing, but
No, not many people can.
you just can't. As a mother, you know your baby, you know your son, and you know what's good for your kids. And there's not a better validator than a mom talking about the family.
Yeah.
And so, Mama Hall, we appreciate you, and God bless.
Yeah.
You know, God bless.
A lot of parents are obviously always happy for their kids when they commit, and that's really like all they follow with the recruiting. But Mama Hall wants to make sure that her son is playing with the most talented players in the nation.
Mama Hall wants to make sure that her
All about the
son's
team.
hoisting a natty.
Yep.
That's what she wants.
And a lot of talent around him.
And she's all about, and God bless her,
The team,
working
the
late,
program.
missing work, watching the show. Thank you, Mama Hall. We appreciate you. And why don't you recruit about 10 more mamas to come on and get it. We'll bring all the moms on because I listen to my mom. Everything my mom said, I listen to everything she said. So thank you, Mama Hall. We appreciate all that you do. So preseason honors. Let's move on. We got a whole list of them. Name them.
There you see Xavier Henderson on the Benerick Award watch list. Obviously, X is one of the better returning safeties in college football. You also have Peyton Thorne on the Walter Camp watch list. That is the award that Kenneth Walker won last year. It is the award for the most outstanding player in college football. So a huge honor there. Obviously, the goal is to win it after the season, but even to be on the watch list is huge. Then you have Jaden Reed on the Paul Hornung Award watch list. I believe that is for the nation's most versatile player, if I'm recalling correctly.
Paul Hornung, you're too young.
Yeah.
Paul Hornung.
Okay. I was born in 98, Brian. So obviously Jaden Reed, huge asset for Michigan State. Special teams, receiver. And then you have the Lombardi Trophy watch list that has Jacob Slade on it. one of the best defensive tackles in the nation. Obviously, he's not a surprise to anyone that knows college football. The list is great validation to see there. So lots of hype for Michigan State going into the season. A lot of respect coming from those that hand out these awards so far.
A lot of respect. A lot of respect. But, you know, that's all press clippings.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, MSU football begins. Camp today. And what are some of the storylines coming out of camp?
I'm just going to be watching for if they have black uniforms this year. That's it.
That's it?
No, I'm just kidding.
That's all you want?
Yeah. So,
nobody wants a neon? Want the black? You want the black?
You can do neon on black. That would be fine.
I'll make some calls on black. All right. I like the black too.
Yeah. You get a blackout. You can throw some neon on there if you really want to.
We get a Friday night first game. Tuck, I got to give you a call. Got to figure out what we're wearing that first game. Yeah,
that's right. Maybe some white camo jerseys like you have on with the hoodie right there.
We could.
Yeah.
We could put them on jerseys, but you know, one thing that I think is a storyline is the development of the offensive line.
Right. Absolutely. There's a lot of young talent that's going to have to step up, at least, especially on the second team this year.
Got a lot of reps in spring.
That's right. Since only 7 guys were healthy, those 7 got to play a ton this offseason. But yeah, you have the first line is looking pretty good there with who they have. But after that, it's all for the taking. Whoever steps up, whoever develops faster, whoever does what they need to, will immediately be right close to the field to play. Like they're going to be one twisted ankle or something. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, these guys have to be ready. These young guys probably all going to be playing a year sooner than some of them expected and were expected to play.
Get him ready, Cap. There are no such things a year sooner. So there's no turns in football.
Yeah,
we gotta go. Next man up.
So yeah, that's a great storyline. Seeing the offensive line.
How about the secondary?
Secondary is going to be fun to watch this year. Everyone is essentially returning. You have a scheme, I believe, where they're now going to have more of a cover corner playing the nickel, as opposed to sort of a thumper last year like they had with Darius Snow. And obviously Darius did a great job in that role. Hardly ever missed a tackle, always knew where to be. But having more of a cover corner in that nickel slot, that's going to really help the overall infrastructure of how they're going to cover the passes. And when you kind of look at in the NFL, the way they play nickel defense, you kind of think about guys like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie a few years ago, where he made a living off of just being a nickel cover corner. And I think if Michigan State has someone like Chester Kimbrough in that role, and then you have obviously Ronald Williams and Amir Speed on the outside, you have Charles Brantley and Marquis Lowry waiting to sub in. I think you have a very good cornerback room right there. And then right behind him at safety, you have 2 guys that are returning. Obviously Xavier Henderson is going to be leading. He's a captain. So there's a lot of potential there. I know they didn't statistically have a great season last year in the secondary, but when you return everyone and Amir Speed is added to the equation and they're going to a little more help in the nickel spot in terms of pass coverage, very exciting. A lot of options.
And you know, we'll get more in depth as the year goes on, but just get home, you know, because
that's true.
Rush the quarterback.
Yeah, and with their reimagined front 7 or
the edge,
front 6,
get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah,
and we'll get some help in the back end.
Yeah, a lot of linebackers that are very good at getting after the quarterback. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of exotic blitzes being brought in by Scotty
Hazelton's going to dial some magic up this year.
Yep, got some creativity ready.
Yep, Scotty, we expect big things out of Scotty this year. So, well, you know, I mean. Listen, football, it requires a lot of luck. Mm-hmm. It requires you staying healthy.
Yep.
Balls bouncing your way.
Yep.
It obviously requires talent. And, you know, there's a lot of things that have to go your way. Sometimes you can be 8-4 and be better than you were 11-2.
Yeah.
So
I think there's no question Michigan State this year as a roster is more talented than the last year. No question. We'll just see how it translates to wins and losses.
They literally could be, you know, 9-3, 8-4, and be a better team than last year. So let's just see how this goes. But we're building depth, battle, build, and chop. Mm-hmm. And so we'll get more into depth as we move on into the season. But moving on to a different topic here, Izzo and Tucker to serve as grand marshals of the NASCAR Firekeepers 400. How about that? when did you ever think we would have Izzo and Tucker as grand marshals serving?
For the Firekeepers 400?
Yeah, I mean, and it's
Right.
really because of we were putting this up because we really appreciate what Ziegler Automotive has done for the university.
What a car.
What a great car, you know?
Yeah.
So just to read a little brief quote here, Ziegler is excited to bring in superstar MSU coach Mel Tucker and Tom Izzo as grand marshals of our upcoming home race at Michigan International Speedway, said Ziegler Automotive President and CEO Aaron Ziegler. As a longtime supporters of MSU, having the Spartans aboard our Ziegler.com 77 is a huge honor for us, especially when it will be featured right here at home. MIS was the first place. Team Ziegler sponsored a NASCAR race car, and we are proud to say that Josh Bilicki was behind the wheel that day, as he will be on August 7th. So we want to thank Ziegler Automotive for being such great Spartans, for inviting our coaches to be the grand marshals, and to really be supportive of Spartan athletics. So thank you, Ziegler Automotive, and let's hope there are what's that called when they're in NASCAR when they have to slow down and stop circling the track.
I think like the yellow flag or
the yellow
the caution.
flag. I forgot the caution flag. I forgot. I forgot. But
Yeah. I played like a NASCAR video game in like 2007.
I'm telling you, but the main point is that Ziegler Automotive have been great Spartans, as well as Andrew Aboud. Andrew Aboud, thank you for all that you've done for MSU athletics. Many have brought your name up, including one Garrett Brenningstool, who have said all the things that you have done. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much for everything that you have done for MSU, MSU athletics and MSU University. We really appreciate that. On to another interesting topic before we make our big announcement. Gen Z.
That's you, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's me. Gen Z football fans prefer Michigan State over Michigan by a wide margin. Very interesting that when I ran across this, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If you look at the stats there under Gen Z, it is 253,000 versus 85,000. Just a massive disparity there. And according to these metrics, Michigan State also had more total fans from a marketing standpoint interested in the program, and Michigan only held the advantage in the category of baby boomer fans. So Michigan State took actually they also held the advantage in millennial fans. So Michigan State took Gen X and they took Gen Z. So
very interesting. What is the age demographic of that?
I don't know.
You don't know? Is it your generation? Because
Probably,
look, if you're watching
sure.
Tom Izzo, right? If you're, Izzo's been doing it for 20. I mean,
Right.
geez, that's my generation. But the last 15 years, you're watching MSU basketball. Even the last 10 years of MSU football.
Yeah.
Right, and you're 28. Since you've been 18, MSU. Last 14 years.
I'm
right?
23.
You're 23.
Yeah.
So since you were
9,
9, Michigan State has
Right.
won 10 of the last 14 football games.
That's correct.
Many of the basketball games.
Yep.
And so does that force you to become a Spartan? Because when I was growing up, it was Michigan.
Right.
Michigan was the better team.
Right.
And everybody in my hometown were Michigan fans, and this is what we grew up to.
Right. Yeah. I think earlier on it was easier for, I guess, parts of the media to kind of push the Michigan as the program of the state, and I guess on the field, especially like 2004, maybe late 90s, you can see that being backed up by the play on the field. But now it's hard. It's hard for just the name alone to override the 10 wins in 14 seasons. It's hard for their name alone to overcome Michigan State having 3 Big Ten titles under Coach D. And the on the field is starting to prevail against just preconceived notions and perceptions being funneled by the Michigan machine, I guess.
Should we get Mel on here to talk about Roe v. Wade and his position?
I can't think of anything else we want to talk to Mel
No,
about.
I agree. That's That's our next question when we get him on here.
Right. That'll be it. We'll wrap it up after that.
We'll wrap it up after that. Figure out where Roe v. Wade and kneeling for the flag and all things. American Sniper.
You want to have more TMZ headlines for
Colin
your
Kaepernick.
coach.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring every controversial topic and have our head football coach talk about it.
Who would ever do that, Brian? Which coach in the nation would ever do such a thing?
A coach who is. I will reserve comment. I'm gonna reserve comment to even. We're a sports show. We're going to stick to sports. That's what we're gonna do. But probably the most important information of the night, Spartan Nation. This right here is something everybody needs to pay attention.
Are you gonna give him your workout plan?
No, I don't. I'm shredded for a reason. I'm wearing a large for a reason.
Because that's all they've printed so far.
The flex. The flex. But right here is what this whole thing is all about. Right here. That breaking news here on the SD4L podcast.
The show, Brian. It's the SD4L show.
Show. Sorry. The brand SD4L, we are announcing tonight, has signed over 25 MSU athletes to represent the brand. This has finally come to fruition. All contracts are signed. Terms will not be disclosed. We will slowly roll out who these 25 are over the next coming days and weeks. So we have 25 MSU athletes that are now signed to represent the brand, to be influencers of the brand, which I think is groundbreaking. Absolutely groundbreaking. And I think just as important to that is we are currently also, I'm not going to say we, but they are currently also in discussions of, discussions are currently being had with female athletes at MSU. I know this piece is very important to folks like Steve St. Andre and Matt Ishbia, the gender equity piece.
Yep. Non-revenue sports as well.
Yes.
Yep.
So those discussions are ongoing. We don't have those signed contracts. We're not aware of those contracts. But Spartan Nation, just so you understand that is happening as we speak. We will roll out these names in the coming weeks. But we want Spartan Nation to know, when they saw Izzo put on the SD4L shirt this weekend, they see Mel wearing it, and now it is official. We have over 25 MSU athletes that have signed, that are under contract to represent the SD4L brand, and we will roll them out in the coming weeks. And hopefully, while the brand is in discussion with female athletes over at MSU, we're able to roll those names out as well. This is a major move here. And if you're a Spartan and you understand what's happening, that this could be a model, right, for NIL across the country. NIL across the country, this could be a model. And I have one more thing to say that I think is very important. There is a special drop coming tomorrow, a special drop of apparel. The site to purchase tomorrow will be posted on MSU Football and Coach Tucker's Twitter account tomorrow. It will be exclusive to the drop. Do not miss out this limited edition drop. This is a unique experience. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, please follow MSU Football and Tucker's account for details. So there is going to be a special drop tomorrow. When the website will be up and running where the general public can buy the apparel, I'm told soon. We're on the other side. We're on the show. But there will be a special drop tomorrow it's very unique, so please pay attention to MSU Football's Twitter account and Coach Tucker's Twitter account to get details. But I want to reiterate, that there are over 25 MSU athletes who have signed contracts with these Spartan Dogs for Life to represent the clothing brand as influencers of the brand. This is major, major news. This is what we've been building up to. And once we're able to build this machine where apparel is sold to the public, this really could be the only model in the country that's a self-sustaining revenue model, as Steve St. Andre said a few weeks ago, that all profits generated will be used to reinvest back into the brand and to find influencers. And so this is a very unique model that we're all excited to see play out.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see some female athletes that we sign, because I know this is very important to Saint and to Ish, to make sure that there's equity and inclusion, and
right.
so I'm excited.
Yeah. Sounds huge. 25 plus guys athletes already signed. More on the way. They're going to be focusing on females and non-rev as well. Seems like it's an athletic department-wide opportunity for kids to kind of just be compensated for their name, image, and likeness, like the way it was always supposed to be. Seems like exciting stuff for you guys in the brand. And
just so we're clear, that the brand is in direct negotiation with these athletes that have signed, that the university has nothing to do with this. But it's Saints and Ish's mission to make sure that we get non-rev and female athletes involved. And so I applaud them for that. So, if this could become a self-sustaining model, once this thing scales and the public's able to buy some of the apparel, there could come a day where every sport at Michigan State University is funded through this revenue model, if the brand reinvests in influencers who are MSU athletes. So exciting times. Exciting times at MSU. So Steve St. Andre, Matt Ishbia, thank you. All of you guys, Greg Williams, thank you. Everybody involved in SD4L, thank you. We're really excited. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining the SD4L show, Spartan Dogs for Life. Thank you. Good night. Go green. God bless.
We're just getting started.